How you doing, YouTube? I'm doing it. Might as well, because everybody else does. Peer pressure, that's what it's called. Not really. I just felt like doing it. That is Bourbon County Brand Stout 2019 edition. I haven't done a current release of Bourbon County, I don't think, since I started my channel. I think it may have been 14 or 15 I might have done, right when it came out. And I've done it since then, though. I actually did one about 4 months ago, but that was like the last variant of it before they pasteurized it. So I think it was 2015 I did. I just found one randomly on the shelf, picked it up, decided to review it. It was absolutely fantastic. And I did like a vertical with my friend Brad. You've seen him a bunch of times. He did a vertical of it once. And I've done, barley wine. I've done, I believe, the coffee. I've done a couple of them here and there. But it's been four years maybe since I've done like a freshie. And I didn't intend to do this, but I was grabbing beer for Thanksgiving. And I was rolling around, and this comes out on Black Friday, for those that don't know. And it was like 2 days before Black Friday, and it was day before Thanksgiving, and I was buying beer, and that was on the shelf, and I said, oh, fuck it. And it was like cheap. It was like $12. That's kind of what they go for, and I thought it was like reasonably priced. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of want a stout. So I figured I'd review it, post it on Thanksgiving Day, give you guys a little day's heads up of what my thoughts of it are. So that way, if you want to go pick it up, you can go pick it up. There you go. So you'll see this tomorrow, which should be Thanksgiving Day. So happy Thanksgiving to all you fellas out there, especially everybody from New England, or England, I mean, who doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving. So words, they're hard. I just bit my tongue, so that really sucks. But if we're not talking about that, we can talk about this beer. First things first. I mean, it's motor oil. It's what you'd expect from Bourbon County. Dark. You know what I mean? It did have kind of a mocha colored head to it that dissipated relatively quickly. Done and done. As far as this bottle goes, I've made no secret that I love these bottles. I love the branding. I love the shape. I love this little tag. I think it's one of the smarter brands that anybody's really done with beer in general. I just like it. I really do. And I still like it up to this day. The only caveat is I pissed me off when I jumped to these bottles, because you used to be able to get a 4-pack of these for $20. Now you get one bottle, which is how many? 1 pint. So it's 0.9 ounces. So it's your, just a hair over a pint for, $12.99, $13 or something like that. So your price point's a little bit different. Let's see. It said it can develop up to 5 years. And what bourbon barrel did they put this in? Is it Heaven Hill they put it in this year? I think they did. I don't know if they actually call out the actual barrel on here. I'm pretty sure it's Heaven Hill. This one clocks in at a 14.7% alcohol by volume. And just for those playing at home, I have an October 5th, 2024, which, I assume that's a Best By date, or drink by. So, it's October 5th, 2019 bottling date, I assume. So, yeah, I dig the bottle. Let's put it that way. Beer, that be stout. Let's see if we can get a nose on her. I mean, that's barrel forward. I mean, it's fresh. It's way more aggressive barrel and spirit than what I remember from Bourbon County, but you have to remember, the last several ones I've had have been a decent age on them. Actually, I know this isn't the first one that I've had that is of the pasteurized version. It might be the first one I'm reviewing of the pasteurized versions. It might be. I'm not quite sure about that one, but maybe the vertical had some in them. But all the ones I've reviewed that I know by myself have been non-pasteurized versions. Yeah, I mean, it's chocolate. It's very much, it's missing something to make it complete marzipan. So I'm getting a soft kind of like custardy, vanilla, nutty vibe to it, but it's more kind of spirit and kind of like a red cherry bourbon kind of spirit going on there. And there's soft chocolates floating in everywhere in the beer. There's like a soft, cool, like powdered milk chocolate thing, powdered mocha milk chocolate. You even get a like soft coffee vibe out of it, but it's really the barrel that's driving away here. It smells hot. It's a 15% beer. It's brand new, relatively brand new. You're talking about October, so we're only a month removed from this hitting the bottle. It smells nice. It doesn't smell overly complex. It smells like it's going to come out very sweet, very boozy, but it smells pretty good. So let's dive in. Cheers. Ooh. That's going to be a good beer. It's going to be a really good beer. Once it loses that heat. This is going to be a really good beer. Because that is really what that fusel alcohol just really does kind of hit you. It's not too bad. I'm not going to have any problem throwing this beer down. But it's boozy. It's boozy and it's hot. It hits you. It's like kind of like that evaporative alcohol thing in the back of your throat. Top of my palate's kind of not on fire, but there's some heat there. So it's definitely boozy. But beneath that is a whole heaping complex bits and pieces of rich savoriness that you can just... Well, I shouldn't say rich savoriness. Rich, delicious sweetness of bits and pieces that my brain already can calculate that it's going to turn into kind of like that pseudo soy sauce savory thing in about 5 to 10 years that I really fucking dig. Yeah, I like this beer. Immediately get hit in the back of the throat with that heat. Once you get past that, it's, I mean, they call it toffee on here. I didn't get that on the nose at all. Definitely getting it in taste. It is like that kind of missing component. It's adding an extra sweetness. Maybe it's that overt, I don't know, sugary, because it's sweet. I'm kind of talking myself out of it. I keep wanting to say marzipan. But maybe it's the nut portion of the show that's missing, but it's reminding me very much of like if you made a marzipan liqueur. Because it has this sweetness. It has vanilla. It has a little bit of soft coconut to it. Nice roasted malts. Multiple levels of different kinds of chocolate going on here. From your milk to your bakers to everything in between. You feel like you're getting all these bits and pieces of chocolate. And there's this cool little like weird dry component to it that even elevates that chocolate even further and makes you think of like powdered chocolate. So that's really cool. And the way that vanilla works, that comes off a little bit kind of marshmallowy, dips into that little bit of coconut like I was talking about. Soft barrel char, nothing over the top, but it's there, so it adds a depth of complexity to the barrel. And then you wrap that all together, it comes off very close as like a creme dessert, like a brulee dessert, I should say, like a creme brulee, but not that sweet. Marzipan, brulee, but not that sweet. There's something missing, like you're almost trying to make, I don't want to keep saying marzipan, you're trying to make that, but you're like, oh shit, I forgot X ingredient, which I believe is that kind of nut portion of the show. It ends up being something close to that, but not quite there. Yeah, it's a tasty beverage, man. This is really good. I mean, once that heat dissipates, and I don't think it's going to take all that long, maybe 6 months to a year, to kind of take the edge off that heat, and so it doesn't hit the back of your throat as aggressively as it does in its current state. Once it gets to that point, I think it's going to be a really, really, really tasty beer. A lot of people are on board with that. A lot of people get pissed off. Sure, it's ABInBev, it's Budweiser, go fuck themselves. I can get on there. There's times I'm like, go fuck themselves. But, good beer is good beer sometimes. And it's really hard to find this level of a barrel-aged stout readily available. You find a lot of barrel-aged stouts, but this is constantly been above and beyond what you typically get off a shelf. Sure, you can go wait in line at somebody's XYZ brewery and trade for this and trade for that, and you would get something of this, or maybe even better, or maybe even worse. But to sit here and then look at it through, proper glasses of non-shaded glasses, like you're not trying to like it because it's from ABInBev, not trying to hate it because it's from ABInBev, trying to be as impartial as possible, just strip away all the pomp and just be like, is this a good barrel-aged stout? And undeniably the answer is yes. And that's the brass tacks. I mean, it's politics. I mean, it's more than politics. It's people's livelihood is at stake when it comes to ABInBev. I know friends and brewers and brewery owners that, that's how they live, and their livelihood is affected by them. And I appreciate that, and I do go out of my way not to support those brands when I can, but every now and then I just want to pick up a fucking really good stout off the shelf. And it's really hard to find. Some people even think I'm being an asshole when I say that, being like, okay, pick it up off the shelf. Dude, I can find these all over. I don't know where people live, because it's not like I live in Chicago, and it's like close to the brewery or anything like that. I like live in New Jersey, and I drive to Pennsylvania. I could drive right now, and I could find a vintage of this year, 18, 17, maybe even 16. Right now, just go out and get them. Just whenever I want. There's a shitty podunk little place like a mile and a half away from here that has no good beer. And they have a couple different decent things. I've been ripping Harpoon fucking Rec League out of there for like 4 months. But they don't have anything. They have two-year vintages of these just sitting on the shelf. Forever wants them. So people are like, oh my god, I can't believe you can find these. I can find them whenever I want. Anyway, back to the beer we're drinking now. It's delicious. It's just hot. And I didn't expect it because I wasn't thinking. But, when you haven't had a fresh one for this long, it kind of makes sense. So when you actually put it in that box, compartmentalize it there, and go, okay, this is a really fresh, hyper fresh one, it's not as hot as you would expect. If I was thinking that way going into it, it'd be like, it's hot. But it's not that bad. Once you get this in about 6 to 12 months, I think it is going to be 1,000% cash money. Now, the fact that it is pasteurized is going to really age and turn into something fantastic over the long haul. That remains to be seen. But it's not going to turn on you most likely. You just might not get that kind of cool super development over time. But I'd really like to stash away a bottle of this. Come back to it in about 10 years. I'd like to get a case of it and come back to it every year. That would be perfect, but I can't do that shit. Anyway, this review is already running way too long, so let's cut to the chase. Is this one of the better barrel-aged stouts that I've had as of late? Absolutely, without a doubt. If that heat wasn't there, then it would be Mount Rushmore status. It's that good. But it's there. You'd be like, well, no shit, it's fresh. Well, they could have aged them themselves. They can let them sit and release them when they're ready. I have no problem with them releasing soon. I have no problem aging beer, but that's what it is. Sometimes I get beers from breweries and they let them sit, so gotta keep that in mind. Value and availability, like I said, I paid $12 for it. I have no problem with that price point from a distance. You're talking about, okay, I'm getting a bit over a pint of a barrel-aged stout for $12. That's kind of market value, maybe even a scoosh below nowadays. But once you reel yourself back into the 2012s or before, I think that's when they started. 13 or 12 when they started getting into these kind of bottles. That price point was even better. So take that for what it's worth. Availability, it's Goose Island. I can get it whenever I want. I don't know about you guys, and leave you with, if you like, what will you like this beer? If you like barrel-aged imperial stouts, that verged a little bit on pastry. I kept saying marzipan enough. I should probably mention that. But, it's really one of those things, like, I understand if you don't want to drink it, and I understand if you don't give a shit. I kind of fall in both categories. So if you like barrel-aged stout and you're not worried about who made it, I guess, then you'll love it. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys got something from it. Hopefully it makes your Black Friday buying decisions a little bit easier. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. You want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Let's cut to that, actually, real quick. Podcast, just put one up. Shelton Brothers Fest. Talked to a bunch of people from Shelton Brothers. Both Shelton Brothers, Joel and Dan. Talked to them in a podcast. Talked to Jamie, a global rep from Napara Beer from Pamplona, Spain. I talked to Ron Extract from Garden Path Brewers, one of the original founders of Jester King. Miguel Rivas, he's kind of like the modern day Michael Jackson, goes around and just talking about beer and taking pictures, more of a photog, but super good dude. And then Sebastian from Freigeist, go check that out in the podcasting thing. And if you're still actually watching this, I should have probably said this at the beginning, tomorrow, Friday, Black Friday, we'll be doing our massive online community beer share. We're going to be doing a big Imperial Stout on there. Not Bourbon County. We'll be doing Oscar Blues 1050. So if you want to check out the podcast, go do that. I urge you to. If you want to hang out for the bottle share, come on by. We'll have a blast. It'll be a good time. We'll drink a bunch of beers. Last one went for 3 hours. Come do it. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully enjoying a Bourbon County right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.